For nearly 10 years, the Institute for Technology Law and Policy at Georgetown Law has played an integral role in preparing the next generation of lawyers and policymakers to advance justice, inclusion, and accountability in technology, law, and policy. With more than 70 cutting-edge courses, nearly 20 full-time faculty advisors, numerous accomplished adjunct faculty and fellows, and direct access to the Washington, D.C. policymaking ecosystem, our leading program blends law and tech curriculum, real-world policy work, practitioner mentorship, and personalized academic and career advising to bring students a dynamic legal education that reflects the complexity of the current landscape. Everyone wants to know, what does AI mean for my legal career? As the largest law school producing the most new lawyers each year, Georgetown must have a leading voice in this conversation. Today, we are launching the Georgetown AI and Legal Profession Initiative to explore AI's sweeping impact on the legal field.
The purpose is to have a place within Georgetown where we are exploring both the current state and what may happen in the future in terms of the use of artificial intelligence within the legal profession and legal practice.
AI is the most important technological revolution of our lives. It's going to change our societies dramatically. And so I'm trying to understand what it means for the law. Is law already able to handle it, or does law need to be changed to accommodate the changes that AI will bring?
It is not an easy time to be a student facing the disruptions that we're facing. Artificial intelligence really is fundamentally changing both the way we learn in law school and then the legal practice that these people will be graduating into. I say this not only as a teacher to this generation of law students, but as the father of kids who are in college right now. It is a destabilizing time to be in school. Professors and administrators do not yet have answers on what do we do about assessment, right? What do we do about kind of, written assignments? And so in a way, what we're really kind of learning along with the students is how do we reinvent what we've done? But in my mind, not throw out what we've learned for centuries. We're trying to find the best of both worlds.
That said, they certainly have a lot of questions. I think that on the one hand, they want to make sure that they're prepared, that they're learning how to use the tools. And I think one of the biggest sources of anxiety that we hear from students has to do with how they can use the tools ethically. And that includes both in practice, like, can they record clients? When can they record clients? What do they have to say? Can AI be used to draft certain things? What about hallucinations? All of the sort of proprietary questions that go around with practicing law in an age of AI.
So I'm teaching classes about AI in the law. Both the law of robots and Gen AI and big law are very highly engaged with how these tools are going to change the lives of lawyers. How does it change the work that they do? How does it change the way we train law students and lawyers? But also, how does it change the billable hour? How does it change the relationship between law firms and their corporate counsel? How does it change the leverage model for the business of law firms? What do those changes mean for lawyering in 2030? What does it mean for access to justice?
But we're unsure about what works with it when it comes to AI in the courts. And primarily that's because there's no real guardrails that are being placed on these tools. And at the end of the day, technology tends to increase power dynamics as opposed to ameliorating them when there aren't guardrails to protect against that type of problem. You have to be able to build supports and structures that increase their sophistication to be able to ask better questions of vendors as well as nonprofits that say they can bring AI to bear on their court administration, and to also just increase transparency. And so there is going to be some level of understanding that needs to exist for law students graduating into this market. And I think at a minimum, considering concepts like prompt engineering, how do you ask appropriate questions of AI and then refine those questions, is going to be a part of the job going forward. But as well, being able to just ask better questions about the technology that's either being sold or presented to them as lawyers will be super valuable.
And I see that there's as much kind of hope and opportunity as there is peril and uncertainty. If we do this right, and that's really a collective we, I mean, all of society, not just institutions like Georgetown, we're going to kind of really revolutionize all aspects of the law and hopefully in positive ways. And so I'm thinking of things like access to justice and fairness, and reducing bias in society. These are all things that AI can both kind of help bring about, but also make more challenging. And so, you know, the road ahead of us is really uncertain, but I think there's a productive path to it.
For us, that means answering the question that we get a lot from students and alumni, which is, how will AI affect my career? How will it affect the jobs and opportunities available to me when I first graduate? How will it affect what I do down the line? How should I prepare for that?
Law students and lawyers and law professors can be pretty skeptical people, and that's really important. A big part of what we should be doing right now in the profession and in law schools is figuring out what works and what doesn't. There's so much hype right now in AI and legal AI. It's important to see through it. And so this initiative is not for the promotion of these materials. It is not designed to say that they're all universally good or that every change that they create is going to be universally good for the profession. I think skepticism is going to be at the heart of this inquiry. Now, that is not to say that we'll be all skeptical. I think people will also see there are opportunities as well. And I think this initiative really searches for balance. It's designed to have a conversation that brings together the most critical thinking and the most enthusiastic, optimistic viewpoints to really find a balance, to find out what the right appropriate way to introduce these tools into the profession is, and then how to protect what is so important about the legal profession and legal services going forward.
We are starting with a relatively narrow set of questions where we will have some conversations about what people are seeing in the space, whether that's law firm partners, corporate legal department heads, civil society lawyers, people working on access to justice issues who are focused on opportunities for those without legal counsel to have better access to and understanding of the courts.
It's this real opportunity to kind of watch something maybe more transformational than the internet. And I think law will play a huge role in that. And so, yeah, this is this moment where the two need to be in conversation with one another.
We're going to be able to bring all of these perspectives together and have a fascinating conversation during the time when it's most relevant. Not like 5 years hence, not before it's even important. At this time, at the most relevant time, we're going to have some of the deepest thinkers and the most engaged faculty all in the same place, engaged in this conversation.
So I'm very excited about the new initiative. And I really do think it both builds on a very strong foundation we have. Like the Tech Institute is firing on all cylinders. We have an incredible staff and a very full calendar of events. But at the same time, no one has answers about AI. I think there are far more questions than there are answers now. And if we're just in normal order doing what the Tech Institute has always done, we will be kind of right there in the middle of these debates. But on the other hand, if we could really level up what we're doing and really kind of sustain the focus and have additional resources to bring in extra people, I think what you're going to see is that we then become a kind of really center of the conversation.
There are, I believe, 17 or so full-time Georgetown law faculty that are part of the Institute for Technology and Law and Policy here at Georgetown. There's no other school in this country, at least, that can match that level of commitment. So I think we're an ideal place to combine our concern with technology law and our concern with how the legal profession evolves. And so this is an ideal place then to think about AI in the legal profession.
There's no better place than to do it right here, where policy is being made.
For those of you who are curious to know where we go from here and how you can be involved, I'm excited to tell you. Please visit our website, look for the Georgetown AI and the Legal Profession Initiative, and fill out the form to let us know that you'd like to connect. We are so grateful to everybody inside and outside of Georgetown who has been part of bringing us to this launch. It includes faculty, staff, alumni, and students, and we are eager to bring in many more people as well. So if you are a Georgetown alum, or if you're not, and you care about the issues of how AI is and will impact the legal profession, please connect with us. Please let us know how you'd like to be involved, and we'll be in touch.